Hi everyone, this is Helloangel.design. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very cute combination dress. I'm using two different kinds of fabric to make this dress. It's very easy to make. I will take you step by step on how to make the dress. If you have not subscribed, don't forget to click that red button that says subscribe, and after that click the notification bell so that anytime I upload new video you will be the first to be notified. If you have any question, put it on the comment section. If you have anything to add to my tutorial, please go ahead and put it on the comment section. If you're just stopping by, thank you so much for watching. Before you exit the video, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get started. Tutorial, what I'm going to use to make this combination dress. This is my bias binding. I'm going to use it to bind the pocket and my ruffle sleeve. I cut 4 pieces right here because I'm going to line in the ruffle sleeve. My label in my pocket, I cut 4 pieces for the pocket, and this is the main bodies for the dress. I'm using the same fabric to line in the dress, and this is my skirts. So this is what I'm going to use to make the dress, and this is my pattern paper. If you don't know how to make pattern paper, in my next tutorial I will show you guys how to make a pattern paper for yourself. So let's start putting the dress together. First thing that you have to do, put your dress together. Make sure both fronts are facing each other. Take your pin the both shoulders same in place, and you also do the same thing with your main bodies. Pin the both shoulders same in place. If you're using the same fabric as your lining, just go ahead and pin the both shoulders same in place. Make sure that both fronts are facing each other. So go ahead and top stitch the both shoulder seam. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. I've top stitched the both shoulder seam of my top together, and I do the same thing with the lining. The next thing that you have to do is to stitch your sleeve. This is my sleeve. Both fronts are facing each other right now. The length is 4 inches. The width is 14.75 inch. What you're going to do, put them together. Take it to your sewing machine. The bottom edge of the sleeve, and just go ahead and stitch it all the way down. You're using a normal stitch length to stitch the bottom edge of your sleeve. Once you have done that, turn it inside out, give it a nice press, and also go ahead and set your sewing machine to the longest stitch. Top stitch the top edge of the sleeve. So because you're going to gather the top edge of your sleeve, so that is why you're going to set your sewing machine to the longest stitch. But first, top stitch, iron your sleeve very well, and then set your sewing machine to the longest stitch and top stitch. I have top stitched my sleeve. This is my gather stitch thread, and I turn it inside out, and I also give it a top stitch all the way down right here. The next thing that you have to do, put your sleeve into 2, the mid part of your sleeve. So this is my dress. As you can see, I've already started pinning from the armhole. From the end of the armhole, I measure 1.5 inch inside. 1.5 inch is right here, and you come to the other side, you do the same thing. From the end of the armhole, I measure inside 1.5 inch, and you take your ruler or your marker with a mark. So the next thing that you have to do, you pick your sleeve. This is my sleeve, and turn your dress. Place it like this. Which side you prefer, you place it at the shoulder seam. This is the shoulder seam. And then you place your sleeve like this. Put them together, pin it in place. the mid part of your sleeve and the shoulder seam are, make sure they are matched, and just pin that in place. Once you have done that, then come to the end of your sleeve, and where you mark the, you can see where the 1.5 inch is. My marker is right here. Then place your sleeve like this. Make sure the raw edges is out. You don't want it to point in, because when you're done stitching, the raw edges will be showing. So make sure you place it like this. Both raw edges are matched. Take your pin, also pin that in place. I have shown many times how to gather your sleeve on your dress in my tutorial. So go ahead and also watch that tutorial. I will still show you how to do this also. The next thing that you have to do is to keep pulling your gather stitch thread. You just keep pulling it like this. So you're going to gather this side to the end right here, and you come to this other side, you do the same thing, pin it and gather this side to this other side. So I have gathered my sleeve. I will just go ahead and start spinning all in place. So go ahead and do the same thing. Pin your sleeve on your dress. I have pinned my sleeve in place. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. So when you're stitching, make sure you stitch close to the edge, and once you have done stitching, take out your gather stitch thread. Don't stitch up to 1 centimeter. When you place your lining on top of it, then you can stitch 1 centimeter all around. So go ahead and top stitch. Stitch my sleeve in place. This is how it looks. The next thing that you have to do is to take your lining, place it on top of it like this. You're going to pin around the neckline and the both armhole. So when you come to the armhole, when you're pinning, fold your sleeve inside like this and just go ahead and pin it all around. So go ahead and pin your top dress together. Place your lining on top of it. Make sure both fronts are facing each other. Pin around the both neckline and the armhole. Pin the both armhole and the neckline. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, stitch the both armhole and the neckline. So when you're stitching, you know that there is a lot of fabric right here because you have your sleeve right here. What you're going to do, when you top stitch around your neckline, so when you're top stitching the armhole, push the sleeve towards the neckline and then top stitch all around. When you top stitch the neckline, push the sleeve towards the armhole and then top stitch all around. Once you have done that, snip around the both armhole curve and the neckline, turn it inside out and give it a nice press. I have stitched the sleeve and I also stitched the armhole and the neckline together. I turn it inside out and give it a nice press. The next thing that you have to do is to put the both side seam of the dress together. Put them together like this. Take your pin, pin along. I have pinned the both sides seam together. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a straight stitch all the way down. Once you have done that, take it to your ironing board and press it very well. I have stitched the both sides seam together. I just turn it inside out and give it a nice press. The next thing that you have to do, you take your pocket. This is my pocket. I cut 4 pieces. Make sure both fronts are facing each other. Take it to your sewing machine, stitch it all the way down. And you take the other pieces, your pocket, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. Once you have done top stitching, turn it inside out and give it a nice press. The top edge of your pocket, set your sewing machine to the longest stitch, stitch it all the way down, and you do the same thing on the second pocket because I'm going to gather it a little bit. So put that aside, and you also take your skirt to your sewing machine, set it to the longest stitch and stitch it all the way down. Once you have done that, then we can gather the skirt together. I have stitched a gather stitch thread on my skirt, and I also do the same thing on the pocket. You just have to pull it a little bit and put the both pocket together to know if the both pockets are equal. One is no longer than the other. So the next thing that you have to do when you're top stitching, make sure to leave a gap because the dress is a button down or a snap down, depends on what you're going to put on your dress. Either you install a snap or a button. I fold inside 0.5 and then I fold it again 2 centimeter. I did the same thing on this side. I fold inside 0.5 and I fold it again 2 centimeter. So this is how it is. The next thing that you have to do is to take your dress. Before you start to gather your skirt on your dress, what you're going to do, put them together, the center back, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. And you also come to this side for the center back, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. So go ahead and top stitch. I have top stitched the center back. I just turn it inside out and give it a nice press. And I also use that opportunity to top stitch the armhole from here to here. And I did the same thing on this side. And I also top stitched the neckline. I just give it a top stitch all the way down. If you're top stitching, don't forget set your sewing machine to 3 or 3.5. The next thing that you have to do, put your dress together, both the lining, put them together like this. Take your pin, place a pin at the mid part of the top dress. And then you take your skirts, put them together. Also place a pin at the mid part. So what you're going to do, you're going to pull them together. So you pick your dress. This is the front of my dress, and this is the front of my skirt. Put them together, make sure both mid parts are matched, and take your pin, just pin that in place. So what you're going to do, you're going to gather this side of the skirt to the side of your top dress, and then you gather this side of your skirt to this side of your top dress. So go ahead and start to gather your skirt. First thing, put them together like this. Just pin that in place. Then pick your gather stitch thread, and let me pick from the back and start to gather your skirt. I have pinned my skirt in place. This is how it finally look right now. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Once you have done that, take out your gather stitch thread, take it to your overlocker, overlock the raw edges, or use zigzag to overlock the raw edges. Once you have done top stitching your skirt on your top dress, the next thing that you have to do, you can see the center back of your dress. Take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. And for the top dress, make sure to measure inside 2 centimeters and just give it a top stitch all the way down. You don't want to top stitch your skirt and leave the top dress without not top stitching. So the best way is just top stitch all the way down right here. Measure from the top dress 2 centimeters and top stitch all the way down. And you come to this side, you do the same thing, top stitch all the way down. I have stitched the skirt on the top dress. This is how it look right now. And I also top stitched the center back. This is where I'm going to put my buttons and my buttonhole. And I overlock the raw edges of the skirt. I push the seam towards the body and top stitch the waistline all around. So you can see that I have already stitched my pocket right here. I will show you how to use bias binding to bind your pocket and top stitch on your skirt. First thing that you have to do, you take your bias binding like this, fold the raw edges inside, fold it again, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. When you come to the end, do the same thing, fold the raw edges inside, fold it again, and give it a top stitch all the way down. I have stitched my pocket. This is how it finally look right now. The next thing that you have to do, I will take the measurement of the pocket that I already stitched right here. The measurement is 5 centimeters. You can see it right here. And from the side seam of my top, you can see the side seam right here. It goes along with the pocket. So what you're going to do, you come to this other side. This is my side seam of my top. It comes all the way like this. So I will place my pocket like this. And then take the measurement of the bottom edge, 5 centimeters. So I will move down my pocket and I will pin that in place. And then fix your pocket properly and start pinning just like that. I have pinned the pocket in place. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way around. You can see the way I stitch my first pocket. I just give it a top stitch all the way around. Make sure it's close to the edge. And you do the same thing on your second pocket. Make sure it's close to the edge and just go ahead and give it a top stitch all the way around. You can set your sewing machine to 3 or 3.5. I have top stitched the pocket. This is how it finally look right now. The next thing that you have to do is to hem your skirt. Take your dress to your sewing machine, fold it and then fold it again and give it a top stitch all around. Make sure to set your sewing machine to 3 or 3.5. That will be your stitch length. So go and hem your dress. I have hemmed my dress. This is the final look of the dress. And this is the back of the dress, and I just stitch my buttonhole and also stitch my button in place. This is how it is. It's really beautiful. If you don't know how to stitch a buttonhole on your dress, I have shown in my other video on how to stitch a buttonhole, so go and watch that video. Thank you all so much for watching and have a beautiful day. Bye.